sealer. We start off with a bucket opener, a screwdriver, a hammer, and the mixing drill in the bucket that we use for this. The first thing is lift up all the tabs from the bucket. Secondly, we want to put about 3/4 of this in here.
That product is
Xylene.
It can be a black bucket or a gray bucket.
The reason we put the xylene in first is we don't want the CSS to stick as badly to the bucket. Xylene is a solvent. This is a resin dissolved in a solvent. This starts off about 50% solids. This is obviously 0% solids. So when we mix them together, we get about 25% solids, which is enough to form a film, but not so much that it's unworkable. As always, we want to be mindful about where we set everything. We want to work as neatly as we can. Doesn't have to be real precise. That's about 3/4 full.
Okay.
And the reason we leave 1/4 of that in there is because we want some of that to clean out this bucket here. So we're gonna put the rest of it in here. It's almost like jelly when the xylene first hits it, especially on the bottom of the bucket.
So then you're going to still use what is left in the...
Yeah, we'll use all of it. Okay, so we want to mix both of these. Sure we don't have any debris on our mixer. With the drill, you want to be very careful touching the trigger because it's meant to spin faster than a mixer, and you don't want that stuff flying all over the place. You want the mixer scraping along the bucket so it doesn't stick to the bottom. See, after that's been mixed and sat, then that comes off nice and easy. We'll mix this for about a minute. We always use the same drill and mixer. These always, after they get aired out, go back into pod number 3 because it's a messy process and we don't want to get sealer on our good drills. We want to have this one cheap drill and paddle just dedicated to mixing sealer. When we finish mixing this, we're going to dump this into that bucket because it's easy to dump into a big bucket. And then we're going to use that bucket to go into what used to have xylene, and we're going to mark them both CSS cut 1 to 1. And then we'll fill another one of those at the end. Since we started with 10 gallons, we'll end with 10 gallons. It'll fit in those 2 5-gallon containers. A little trick for dumping that in there easily is we're going to set this bucket on that xylene and tip from one bucket down to the other. You don't want to have to support the weight of all 10 gallons as you're pouring it.
Yeah.
It's these little tricks is why we bother with these videos, because most anybody can mix these two things together. But if you've had 15 people doing this for 9 years, you're going to come up with a bunch of little tricks, and that's why we do best practices. There's no one person that's as smart as that many people over that much time.
Right.
Do a little spin cycle at the end to get that thing to dry out quickly. So again, I'm going to push this part down right here. I'm doing this without safety equipment so that you can hear what I'm saying, but you're going to want to wear a full face respirator, gloves, and forearm covers when you're doing this. I've done a lot of this, so hopefully we're okay.
Okay. Oh,
so that there is a lot easier to do than to try to support the weight and tip it.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to position that there. And then now we've got a nice big target. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it would be any other way that we figured out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's full. And now we're going to use that to pour into here. I'm going to grab a funnel. And if you've got help, you'll have somebody hold the funnel up to let the air out as the stuff goes in. If you're doing it by yourself, you can just stick something in that hole to create a less than perfect seal so the air can get out as the sealer goes in. You don't want to do that without that. If you do that right there, it'll glug, 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 and it'll pop and do all kinds of junk that you don't want
pour out.
to do.
It won't go in fast enough and it'll come out of the top of the...
So we're going to make that intentionally kind of sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to pour on a side of a funnel, you want to pour on the side towards the center of the bucket so the funnel doesn't get full and tip over and get sealer all over your boots. That will make your boots more waterproof, but will probably ruin your morning.
Will the mask muffle the cursing? Do you make it, let's say you're going to do 20 gallons, do you do 10 at a time?
10 at a time.
Okay.
Always 10 at a time. Okay, so this is done. We're done with our funnel. We're going to use the same trick. Now, even though we're all big, strong guys and we could muscle this thing in there, we're going to do the easiest way every time so we're more efficient through a long day.
Right.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Okay.
It's fuller than we expected, so we're going to pour the rest of this in here. Kind of underdid it on that.
Well, you can't see in it, so.
Okay.
All right.
Now we're going to leave this flipped over so it's got a chance to dry out as cleanly as possible. We're going to take our lid back on. Again, we've been careful to keep any debris from getting stuck on there. And then the easiest way to do this is to first bend it down with your hand a little bit. If that's not comfortable, you can do it with a hammer the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it's easier to get that started that way. And we want a good, strong seal on this, so what I like to do is I stand on this as I'm hammering this down.
Oh, yeah.
We're just going to put all these little tabs back where they were. And that's how we mix sealer. Now before this goes on the truck, we're going to take this directly to where the stuff is, and we're going to put a ring of tape on all these and mark that it's 1-to-1 CSS. We're going to put away our screwdriver, our bucket opener, and we'll leave our funnel out here to dry on top of this. We'll set a little alarm on our phones to remind us to put that away so we don't leave it out, and we're good to go. That's it.
The end.